The Indianapolis Motor Speedway has always been the frontier of innovation for the sport of auto racing. From its first concept, the Speedway has attracted men of vision. At the turn of the century, Carl Fisher conceived a giant 2.5-mile track, paved with brick, destined for history, a proving ground for the automobile. In 1911, when the first Indy 500 was run, Ray Haroon, an automotive engineer for the Marmon Company, was brought out of racing retirement to drive. In a day of two-man cars, Haroon drove alone. His victory assured a place in history. By the 20s, the Brickyard was firmly established as the center of the racing world. America's World War I flying ace, former racing driver Eddie Rickenbacker, purchased the great track, now used only one time a year for the 500. Under Captain Eddie, traditions were firmly set. A drink of milk for the winner, a large silver Art Deco trophy to celebrate the win. The men that raced in Indy were called away in the Second World War, and the Brickyard fell to ruin, all but forgotten. But another visionary arrived at war's end in 1946.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Tony Hulman envisioned a future with giant grandstands, 200-mile-an-hour race cars, and crowds larger than the world has ever known. Now, Tony George, Hulman's grandson, follows the dreams of the great men who have led the Speedway. Tony reasoned that this cathedral of IndyCar racing was ready for a new tradition, NASCAR. Ray Haroon's face was the first on the Borg Warner. Whose name will start the list on the new PPG trophy? Or might it be 23-year-old Jeff Gordon, who grew up a few miles from the Brickyard? Last May, he became a proven winner on the NASCAR circuit. He always dreamed of racing here, but never would have guessed it would be in a stock car. By day's end, there will be new history. 400 miles from now, the Ray Haroon of this age will be known. A new tradition begins. NASCAR has come to the Brickyard. Live from the world capital of auto racing, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, ABC Sports presents the inaugural running of the Brickyard 400. You are about to watch the making of history. A thunder will roar out. There's Merrick Fendrick Hulman ready to give the command. We go down to the start-finish line for the introduction of that moment's most famous command in sports.
The chairman emeritus of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Mary F. Hulman.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Row 2, Jeff Gordon, who won his first race this last May in his 42nd start.
Bob, these fellows have rode by all these people. They have never seen as many fans as we have here at Indianapolis today. They are excited, but in just a moment, it's back to business.
They work through the north end of the racetrack. Now between turns number 3 and 4, Rick Mast on the pole in car number 1. It's Dale Earnhardt on the outside of the front row. Jeff Gordon will start from third position. Now they make their way around corner number 4 as Elmo Langley has the pace car position to pull in off of the racetrack. The eyes of the entire sports world are focused at this moment on 300 acres of real estate in the northwest section of Indianapolis, Indiana. A new tradition begins as the green flag is about to come out to signal the beginning of the inaugural Brickyard 400. And the green is out.
And now, Bob, it's just another race. All the hype is over. These guys now can worry about winning the first Brickyard.
Can they race 2 abreast through the corners? You bet they can. We saw it in the first and second corners. Rick Mast has the lead as they come down the backstretch with Dale Earnhardt tucked in right behind him, but Jeff Gordon is trying to make a move on Earnhardt for the second position in the third turn, but he did not get it. Now Mast still has the lead as they head through corner number 3 into corner number 4.
And that move that Jeff Gordon made on the inside of Earnhardt probably let Rick Mast lead that first lap.
In 78 previous runnings of the Indy 500, 151 different drivers have led a lap. Rick Mast has become the first to lead a lap in the history of competitive stock car racing, and that's the first time he has ever led a first lap of any race.
There's Labonte on the inside of Earnhardt trying to push him back to fifth spot, and Elliott's going to... Bill Elliott has gotten by him, and here's a lot of other cars trying to get by Earnhardt down the front straightaway. Look at them, 4 abreast.
At the line, they're 4 abreast in a battle for position as Jeff Gordon has taken over the lead from Rick Mast.
But Mast is coming back on the inside trying to retake the lead, but Gordon holds it coming off the second corner.
Jack Arute has a report on Dale Earnhardt.
Well, Bob, Dale Earnhardt and Rick Mast came together on the start, and in that shunt, they think they may have bent the rear just a little bit. They're not sure down here. In fact, they are trying to radio to Dale right now, but they are going to try and keep him out as long as possible. That's why he hit the wall coming out.
Well, Benny, he hit it hard enough that he could have very definitely sustained some damage to that car.
Yes, he did, Bob. There we see Jeff Bodine, the Exide battery car, won the race at Pocono about a month ago.
And we are yellow for the first time in the inaugural Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Huge break for Dale Earnhardt. Huge break for Dale Earnhardt.
There is debris in turn number 1. That's the reason that we are under yellow for the first time in the inaugural Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. We'll be right back.
Tape it into place, a very time-consuming process. And after Danny qualified yesterday, did such a terrific job to qualify 26th overall. Now the engine is off once again. And so the problems continue here early for one of the 4 men in this field who has now entered this racetrack.
As a matter of fact, of course, he was famous for the spin and win at the Indianapolis 500 in the mid-'80s. The green flag waves once again. We're back under competition. It is Jeff Gordon who is leading, but look at the cars fan out at the back of the pack to shuffle for position.
Dale Earnhardt track position here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is going to be a premium today. Staying up front is going to be very important. Earnhardt all the way in the back of the field. Hurts him a great deal.
Of course, most of the drivers and crews name their cars, and Jeff Gordon has called his car Booger because it was so difficult to get to handle when it was originally built. Jerry Punch has a report on Jeff Gordon, who's setting the pace here in the early going.
Guys, you may not want to hear this, but a moment ago, the crew radio, Jeff Gordon said, stay in place, do not pull away, let's not show everything we've got yet. So if he's not showing everything he's got, the field could be in serious trouble.
Jerry, his radio must not be working.
He is definitely opening up a little bit of an advantage between himself and Jeff Bodine and Rick Mast as they continue to run in second and third positions.
I'm in the leader's pit, Jeff Gordon. He has a pretty significant push. He and Ernie Irvan and a couple other competitors complaining that the car will not turn in the corners. Let's check in with Jack Arute.
Well, Jerry, the man that's running in second place.
Some of the spotters around the racetrack, as they observe the cars going through the corner, are saying right now that Jeff Gordon seems to have the best handling car of all the cars on the racetrack.
Jeff Gordon is ahead of Jeff Bodine and Rick Mast as we anticipate a green flag coming out. There's part of the 300,000+ fans who were lucky enough to get a seat for the Brickyard 400. They had about 3 times as many requests for tickets as they were able to give out. Now the pace car has pulled off of the racetrack, and Jeff Gordon leads them down. This is the 10th race that Jeff Gordon has led in 1994. He has led 274 miles in 1994 coming into this event.
And track position, Bob, is so important. All these cars really and truly should have pitted.
In this event, 4th in the point standings as we go back up to the front and see that Jeff Gordon continues to hold on to the lead over Jeff Bodine. As far as the tire story is concerned, Goodyear is with Jeff Gordon, Hoosier on Jeff Bodine. The 3rd place car of Bill Elliott is on Hoosiers, and the 4th place car of Rick Mast is on Hoosiers. Here's Jack Arute.
Well, Bob, you heard Jerry Punch tell you that the leader, Jeff Gordon, was concerned with a little bit of a push. We talked to Ray Evernham just a minute ago. He said the racetrack is coming to Jeff Gordon, and the push is beginning to go away. They do not anticipate making any changes to the car when they come in for their pit stop on lap 32.
Well, Jeff Gordon did not practice that last practice yesterday afternoon. He probably would have discovered that he had a little push in his car, but they felt like that there's a lot of cars out there. They might take a chance on wrecking the race car. They set out that last hour of practice.
You know, each of the 43 starters who began today's race had hoped to become the Ray Haroon of stock car racing here at Indianapolis by being the first winner, but nobody wanted to be the Arthur Greiner. And he was the guy who finished last in the first Indianapolis 500 back in 1911. And I think we can give that distinction to Jimmy Spencer, who is being shown as officially out of the race after his contact with the wall in turn 3.
As we watch the fight for the lead, let me tell you, Earnhardt fans, that he is currently running 27th as Jeff Bodine passes Jeff Gordon, takes the lead.
This is the 11th race in 1994 that Jeff Bodine has led. The last time he led was at Pocono, where he led 156 of the 200 laps in his domination of that second race at the Pocono 2.5 miles. Jeff Bodine from Chemung, New York, has taken over the lead from Jeff Gordon and has become our third leader of the day in the first 24 laps of the 160-lap event.
Our spotters told me Jeff Gordon has called his crew and said now his car's a little bit loose.
Jeff Bodine, Jeff Gordon, Bill Elliott, Rick Mast, and Brett Bodine are the top 5 after 24 laps in the Brickyard 400. We'll be right back.
Broke his right scapula or shoulder blade early in the year in a practice incident at a short track in western North Carolina, practicing his Ford Thunderbird back in March of this year. So it's the same shoulder. They're going to send him down and get an x-ray. We'll try to get a report as soon as possible.
All right, thank you, Jerry. Jeff Bodine leads here over Jeff Gordon, and Gordon's crew is telling him to just stay in his rhythm and run his own race, and he is staying within sight of the leader, Jeff Bodine.
Can you imagine 23-year-old Jeff Gordon running right behind Jeff Bodine, the leader, had led the Brickyard 400 at 23?
Well, and I know the fans gathered here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway were going crazy when Jeff was in the lead because he is a hometown favorite. He, of course, was born in California, but some rules out there didn't allow a race driver to race as young as Jeff wanted to start. And so he came to Indiana to run with various organizations, including the United States Auto Club, picking up 2 championships with USAC before deciding to go to the Stock Car Wars. Here's Jack Arute with a report on Jeff Bodine. Here are the 2 front cars, Bodine and Gordon, and we anticipate more pit stops here before long.
Tell you what, it won't be long as Michael Waltrip makes the pit stop right in front of us. Won't be long before these fellows will be coming in.
32 laps have been completed. Let's see if they'll make a pit stop this time. Looks like Gordon is going to. Yep, Bodine stays out, but Jeff Gordon is bringing the car in. Jack Arute will be there to call the pit stop. Jack?
Well, Bob, they radioed in. Jeff Gordon did that he'd like the car tightened up just a little bit, so it seems they've gone from a push to a loose condition. Michael Waltrip completes his action. Remember, they come down pit road at 65 miles an hour or under. The crew remains on the driver's left side of the wall. They come across as he hits the second to first stall, and now they go to work. They will change all 4 tires, and it looks to be a normal stop. We'll see if they make any adjustments on the wedge. So far, we have not discerned any, and it seems to be a nominal stop as Rick Mast also comes in to make his pit stop. This is so very important, as you know, gentlemen, the first stop, because this is the first issue of the Black Book, the first entry that they can make under racing conditions. Gordon is away in 24.6 seconds. Meanwhile, they're also going to work. They've just about completed their work on
the left side change. So a man who gave his many fans such a thrill to get up with the front runners on that exchange of pit stops down off the Jackson, now rolling.
And Jeff Gordon picks up the lead once again. So Jeff Gordon continues to lead this race. Now we have seen all of those drivers who pitted early come in for their stop, and so we revert back to Jeff Gordon as the leader. Jeff Bodine is running Robert Yates' crew, and here's the leader, Jeff Gordon, coming off the racetrack and down pit road.
Jeff has to be careful not to break the speed limit of 55 miles per hour.
And Jack Arute is in Jeff Gordon's pit. Here he comes.
Well, Bob, so far, Jeff Gordon has decided to try and run as conservative a race as possible. It's hard to believe when you see the speed that he's setting. But they are going to go ahead and just change 4 tires. Still, no chassis adjustments on the car. Now, the pit stall directly in front of Jeff Gordon belonged to the pole sitter, Rick Mast. During this pit stop, here, they had a problem as Gordon goes away. During the pit stop for Rick Mast, he encountered some problems. The car did not fire, but they finally got it fired, but it has dropped him way back in the standings under these green flag conditions.
Did you see the tire mark on Jeff Gordon's car on the 24 on the left side?
He's definitely had contact with someone. Here, maybe we can tell what happened. That is Jeff Bodine to his inside.
Jeff Bodine is trying to get by him, and Jeff Gordon is trying to go to the pits, and they make contact.
This
Wow.
was out of turn 4. Jeff was trying to get to the pits and had made some contact there with Jeff Bodine.
Man, I tell you what, we saw the fella changing the left front tire look at the fender, and I don't know if it was rubbing the tire or not. And look, the left front is flat. Look how close the front of the car is to the ground.
Dale Earnhardt, Jack Arute has a report on Jeff Gordon. How's the car?
Well, the report is, gentlemen, that there are no problems with the car. There was some question as to whether maybe he had the left front go down in that little set-to with Jeff Bodine. But talking to Ray Evernham, he said everything's okay, but he did say, hey, we dodged a bullet.
Well, they sure did, because there was pretty significant contact between him and Jeff.
Boy, I tell you, there was.
The year they have had with the Junior Johnson team, can't afford to take a chance. A vibration at 200+ miles an hour on these straightaways could be disastrous, guys.
Jack Arute has a report on Mark Martin.
Well, we don't think we'll see Mark Martin win the Brickyard 400. Checking with Steve Meal, it seems that they just dropped a cylinder, gentlemen. So he's going to have to run and reduce speeds now for the remainder of this race.
Well, it appears as if Jeff Gordon's car has not been all that much affected. There is the damage on the left side with his contact with Jeff Bodine, but it does not appear to be affecting the running of the car in any way.
There, the 55 car of Jimmy Hensley goes a lap down to Jeff Gordon. Also, Wally Dallenbach.
Wally Dallenbach, driving for Richard Petty, is shown now in 23rd position, and he is a lap down. There are 22 cars on the lead lap. Well, this place will erupt if Jeff Gordon wins the inaugural Brickyard 400. So many Central Indiana people are a real favorite of Jeff Gordon's, and they were very happy when he won his first NASCAR Winston Cup event at Charlotte Motor Speedway earlier this year on the same day as the Indianapolis 500. Stay with us for more live coverage of the Brickyard 400.
Right and left as they go down the front straightaway. Here's Kyle Petty.
He is half a lap away from the halfway point.
And a caution.
We have a caution. The yellow flag is waving by Doyle Ford, but it still will be the halfway point when he comes around.
And Kyle Petty is going to save that lap, and this is a huge break for Harry Gant. Remember, he is not pitted. He's in 3rd place. And there our leader, Jeff Gordon, takes the caution flag, so a huge break for Harry Gant.
And was running in 3rd position, had not made the stop, so he will be able now to make his pit stop under the caution. Well, our host, Paul Page, has a report. Paul?
Well, Bob, it's time again for the Budweiser Pace Car Sweepstakes. The 200-mile leader, as you saw, was Jeff Gordon. Now, write down Jeff Gordon on your 3x5 card, and you could win one of 4 1995 Chevrolet Monte Carlo, official pace car of the Brickyard 400. Stay tuned for the 300-mile leader for your next chance to win. Brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beer. So this giant crowd watches at the halfway point. And in front of the field, it is Jeff Gordon.
Well, Bob, Rick Hendrick, who's one of the owners of the car that Jeff Gordon is driving, just radioed to his driver and said, "What are you trying to do? Put on a great show, show yourself off in front of the hometown fans?" And all Gordon did is say 10-4.
Well, we are going to see, Benny, what he's got now, because he's back there in third position. He's got Marlin and Bodine ahead of him, so we're going to see how strong that car is. Serious. Riding with Bill Elliott there for the moment, and now we see Jeff Gordon go to the inside of Sterling Marlin and grab second.
So we found out that Jeff Gordon can pass Sterling Marlin with ease, and I'm impressed with Jeff Bodine being able to pull away from these cars this much with an extra 15, 16 laps on his tires.
He is on the Hoosier tires, don't forget, whereas Jeff Gordon is on the Goodyears.
There's Brett Bodine overtaking Bobby Hillin.
Our IndyCar effort produced a winner in the Michigan 500.
And Jeff Gordon has caught Jeff Bodine.
And we watch from the blimp this battle for the lead as Gordon comes in on Jeff Bodine. Let's see if he can make the pass here on the backstretch.
Looks like Jeff Bodine really does want him to pass.
Now, Gordon goes to the inside, but cannot make the move in turn 3.
Looks like Jeff Gordon catches him right at the end of the straightaway, but not able to get alongside enough to make the pass. Now he's going to try it again.
Nope. This doesn't have the momentum to get by him.
And you can see that Jeff Gordon is trying. The rear of the car wiggled just a bit as he came off turn 1.
Does he want to take the lead at this point, Benny?
Oh, yes. He wants to lead this thing. Any race car driver wants to lead if he has a car that's capable of it.
10 drivers have led so far in this race today. We understand that Jeff Bodine is scheduled to pit in about 13 laps, Benny, somewhere around there.
Boy, he's going to be really out of sequence with the rest of the cars.
It really is. Unless there's a caution between now and then, he'll be way off sequence.
Now, if all these cars have to stop twice before the end of the race comes around, that will not be too bad for Jeff Bodine. But if he has to stop twice and the rest of them once, he's got a huge problem.
While we watch this battle for the lead, you know, this isn't the first time that NASCAR's top division has competed here in the state of Indiana. They ran a division race at the Winchester Speedway in October of 1950, and then there was a race in July of 1952 at the South Bend Motor Speedway, a half-mile dirt track. But without question, this is the biggest race that NASCAR has ever run in the state of Indiana.
Did you announce either one of those races?
I wasn't around back. Well, I was, but I wasn't in a position to announce them, Benny. Were you racing back then?
Here's Gordon again, trying to get alongside. Can't make it.
Thought maybe he had it that time.
Looks like Jeff Gordon's picked up some push to me as he comes off the corner. Looks like he's not able to keep the car on the bottom like you would like to.
Yeah, he's much higher exiting the corner. And A.J. Foyt has brought his car back into the pit area. They're changing tires on the right side.
That's the Jim Bound pit crew. Jeff Henson and his crew that stepped in to pit the A.J. Foyt car. You saw?
Wow.
Did he hit the wall?
Well, he came very close to it. He was very loose coming off the third turn. Jack Arute has a report on Jeff Gordon.
Well, Benny Parsons, you haven't lost your touch. Indeed, Jeff Gordon has gotten a little bit of a push coming out of the corner. They had it earlier in the day, and the track came to them. It seems when the fuel load goes down, it tends to go away. So they're not really that concerned about it. It just makes it a lot tougher to go for the lead.
Yeah, Jack, we can see as he comes off the corner how the car drifts up towards the wall. As he jerks it away from the wall, then he's losing the back end once in a while.
Jeff Gordon has led 43 laps of this event, while Jeff Bodine continues to rack up the laps led. He now has been in front for 24. We're getting set for the restart here. When they come down, they'll complete 105 out of 160 laps.
As Jeff Burton on the inside, the blue and white number 8. Jimmy Hensley in 55. Burton is 19th. Hensley is 20th. Bobby Hill in the black number 44. He's 21st position.
Joe Nemechek's being shown in 22nd. Wally Dallenbach in 23rd. Greg Saxon 24th. As the field moves off of corner number 4, looking for the restart. Doyle Ford looks them over very carefully as they come down slowly. Now he raises his right hand and displays the flag, and we're back to racing.
They restart the race in second gear, shift to third gear, and then the fourth. Well, I'll tell you, Jeff Gordon really came down on the Jeff Burton automobile. Burton slides up the racetrack right in front of Darrell Walker.
The most dominant car, if there indeed has been one so far in this race, has been Jeff Gordon. The rest of the field comes off the corner. Look at this movement down the backstretch. 3 abreast, 4 abreast in some locations. And Gordon now takes a look to the inside in the short chute. Is he going to get the lead here in turn 4? Yes, he does. Gordon goes back into the lead.
And look at Jeff Burton. He's able to pull back right up on the back bumper of Brett Bodine. He is a lap down. And that number 8 car. And the question, since Jeff Bodine has fallen out of the race, is there anyone that can race with Jeff Gordon?
I think that's going to be the question for the remaining laps in this race.
And we can see what kind of lead that Jeff Gordon has, about half this front straightaway. As Ernie Irvan gets to the start-finish line, Gordon goes down in turn 1.
Jeff Gordon from Pittsboro, Indiana, is the leader at this point. And here's our host, Paul Page.
Well, get those game cards ready now. It's time for the Budweiser Pace Car Sweepstakes. The 300-mile leader, as you saw, was Jeff Gordon. So write down Jeff Gordon on your 3x5 card, and you could win one of 4 1995 Chevrolet Monte Carlos, the official pace car of the Brickyard 400. And stay tuned for the final lap. It's your last chance to win. Brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. So Jeff Gordon is still the man to watch at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as he continues to pull away from the remainder of the field. Of course, he has some very personal aspects riding with him. Most of his life, he grew up not far from here, graduated from high school close to here, and did most of his early racing right here in central Indiana. 16 changes thus far among 11 drivers in a race in which we have proven that you can, in fact, run side by side in a stock car at Indianapolis. Now back to Bob Jenkins and Benny Parsons.
It's been a very competitive race.
It has been a competitive race, and it looks like that you can't come home again. Jeff Gordon is back in Indiana, where he grew up, and is doing very well.
There is the interval once again between first and second. Jeff Gordon displayed so much emotion when he won his first NASCAR Winston Cup race earlier this year at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I can imagine what it's going to be like if he should hold on to win this one, but we still got a long way to go. Gordon led after 120 laps, the average speed 128.6, 11 leaders and 15 lead changes, 5 caution periods for 21 laps, 5 cars are out of the race. And all of those have been as the result of accidents. Here's Jack Arute.
Well, Bob, this man was accountable for the first stock car ever to test at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that was an IROC car. Ray Evernham was with IROC at the time, and now you're the crew chief on Jeff Gordon's car, and it looks like so far it's been a Sunday in the park for you guys.
Well, I don't know about that. You know, it's a lot of tough competition out here. Jeff's just picked up on this place. He's doing a great job. My hat's off to all of these guys that worked so hard getting this car ready. I'm really happy.
But early on, you had a push. It seems to go away as the race goes on, and then it sneaks back. Right now, what's he reporting on the car condition?
Well, our car's pretty balanced, and as the sun goes in and out, we've been playing with 1 or 2 pounds of air pressure, and that's all we've done. We had a little bit of problem with a jack on a pit stop and got us a little behind, but, you know, we just got our fingers crossed, and we're praying to God we want this one real bad. And I want to say hi to Casey Elliott, Ernie's son. He can't be here, but we're looking after you, and you just keep fighting.
And Benny and Bob, you asked Jeff Gordon who's accountable for his success in the last year and a half. He points to this man right here. He says communication is the key in auto racing, and he says he and I communicate excellently.
Jeff Gordon is trying to become the second person to win races at both Daytona and Indianapolis in the same year. There are 30 laps to go. 130 laps have been completed.
And if they do, can he keep Jeff Gordon behind him?
Exactly. Gordon has been the best car on the racetrack, but it could come down to the pit work. There is the opening of pit road.
And Jeff Gordon's crew, they call themselves the Rainbow Warriors.
Those on the lead lap are able to pit this time by. All others cannot pit this time, but can when they come around again. Gordon leads Irvan, Wallace, Elliott, and others at 55 miles an hour down pit road.
Had him brushed over there, brushing off the front of the car. Jeff Gordon changing the right side, brushing the grill off. Jackman comes around. A chassis adjustment. Put one around the wedge in the car. Rusty's moving. Ernie's moving. Jeff Gordon is moving, but Rusty Wallace is going to beat him out.
15.9 second pit stop for Rusty Wallace. And he beats his competitors out of the pits. Very important track position. Jeff Gordon will restart in second position. We've been monitoring his radio, and he says regarding his second position, that's all right. We've got now about 27 laps to go, and we can beat them on the racetrack. But that is the question right now.
He's got to pass them, and then we found that passing at this racetrack can be difficult. Sterling Marlin in the 4 car was running 6, had to come back in the pits. He's all the way at the tail end of the long line there, back in 17th spot. But meanwhile, it's going to be decided between those first 5 cars. I think our winner will come from Rusty, Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvan, Brett Bodine, or Bill Elliott.
Let's watch Jeff Gordon, because we also hear that he's been told to try to get Rusty on the restart. Get this pass over quickly and then pull away. Well, let's see if that happens when the green flag comes out. The cars are now entering turn number 4. The pace car about to pull off the racetrack for the restart of what could be the final segment of racing in this inaugural event. They come slowly off of corner number 4. Wallace at the head of the line. Gordon is second. Then Ernie Irvan. Then Brett Bodine and Bill Elliott.
There we see Rusty accelerate. He's on the throttle. Now he moves down to the inside, trying to protect that inside from Jeff Gordon.
Jeff is not going to be able to get the advantage on the restart. Here they come into the first turn, and Rusty's got the lead. And now we continue to think about the Roger Penske connection. He's the owner of this car, driven by Rusty Wallace. He won the Indianapolis 500 this year. He has won it 9 previous times. But Gordon makes a move to the inside in the backstretch. Does he have the lead in 3? Yes, he does.
Now then, Rusty and Ernie Irvan almost made contact as they came off that second corner. Here's Rusty trying to get back on the inside. And he is back on the inside, Bob.
Jeff has got to give him room. They're going to come through turn number 4 side by side and onto the straightaway. Some great racing, and again they touch as they come down the straightaway. It's Wallace to the inside and Jeff Gordon to the outside, and Ernie Irvan is a factor too.
Now, Jeff can't get back to the inside because Ernie is there. Jeff Gordon's going to try to pass him on the outside, Bob. Can they run two abreast through the corner? You bet you they can.
Gordon goes back ahead as Rusty gets a little loose in the second corner.
And here comes Ernie. Brett Bodine trying to follow him.
Jeff Gordon protecting that low line. But he is moving away from Wallace, who may have a problem.
It looks like Rusty has a problem of some kind.
So now it is Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvan and Brett Bodine and Bill Elliott who are running first through fourth. Darrell Waltrip is in fifth position, and Rusty has fallen back to sixth.
Rusty did not go for the pit, so evidently he does not have a problem. Just got the car a little bit loose.
Gary Gerald is in Rusty's pit.
And the crew here says they're...
Gordon continues to lead. He has about a 6 or 7 car length advantage on Ernie Irvan. Welcome back to ABC's live coverage of the Brickyard 400, and we have a new leader, the 13th different leader of the race. Ernie Irvan has gone around Jeff Gordon.
But Jeff Gordon is right there. Ernie hasn't went any place.
The question is, Jackaroot, did Jeff Gordon allow Ernie Irvan to go around?
Well, Bob Jenkins, what happened is he's been battling a loose condition, so Gordon radioed in and said the car's getting looser and looser, and the call was made from the pits, let Ernie Irvan go by, save it for later. And then they ended the conversation with being told, they said to Jeff, remember, you're the man today.
But is he?
We're going to find out. This is a classic battle. A Ford, a Chevrolet. Man, I thought this was going to hit the wall.
It looked like they came off the corner very, very high. 18 laps to go now. Jeff Gordon chases Ernie Irvan. Brett Bodine is third. Bill Elliott fourth. Rusty Wallace is fifth. Darrell Waltrip is sixth. And Dale Earnhardt is in seventh position.
Jeff Gordon almost grazed that wall coming off that corner with 18 laps to go. And remember what happened 18 laps to go? Emerson Fittipaldi hit the wall with just 18 laps to go, allowing Al Unser Jr. to win the 500, Indianapolis 500. Now Ernie's getting a little loose. See that wiggle in the back of the car?
Yep. Gordon took a look to the inside as they came down the straightaway. Let's see what his strategy is as they come out of two and head down the long back stretch. He's tucked right on the back bumper of Ernie Irvan. Now, once again, takes a look to the inside, but he'll make no attempt to make the pass.
I tell you, Bob, that must be an exceptional engine in that 28 car because they had a problem with it yesterday. Rather than go to a backup engine, they took that engine apart, took the oil pan off, took the rod caps off, checked the bearings to make sure they hadn't scored anything, and put the engine back together and put it back in that car to race today. Here comes Jeffy taking a look. He's taking a look.
He might make an attempt at taking the lead into turn one, and he does. And the hometown crowd rises to its feet and salutes their hero, Jeff Gordon.
Man, look at these folks wave as they go by. But did he make his move too soon? Is Ernie going to get him loose now? Remember, his car is loose with the car right behind him.
Ernie Irvan has, well, won 12 NASCAR Winston Cup races. Jeff Gordon has only one in his resume. That was at Charlotte, North Carolina, earlier this year.
Now he's going back in front of the fans who haven't seen him leading the race, and they are on their feet applauding Jeff Gordon.
He celebrated his 23rd birthday just Thursday when he qualified for the inside of the second row. And look at the crowd waving and cheering Jeff Gordon on to victory.
Man, oh man.
There are 15 trips around the 2.5-mile oval at Indianapolis left in this inaugural Brickyard 400.
Now, if Jeff Gordon can just stay that far in front of Ernie Irvan, he'll be okay because Ernie is not close enough right now to really loosen his car up in the corners. But if Ernie pulls back up on the deck lid, he might get Jeff loose again.
As they separate just a bit, let us inform you that Mike Chase is being transported to Methodist Hospital for neck x-rays. He has some contusions, but the injuries are not believed to be serious to Mike Chase.
And he did walk from his race car to the ambulance.
Jimmy Spencer, of course, was also taken down to Methodist for x-rays after an accident early on in the event. Gordon continues to lead, and Benny, it appears as if he is stretching it out a little bit.
Looks like it. Maybe a half a car length more than the last time.
The first two have pulled away from third place, Brett Bodine.
Ernie's not letting him get totally away, Bob. Look, he's closed back up. What's that, 2 car lengths?
Another thing that you have to consider at this point, Benny, is experience. Jeff Gordon is only in his second year of full-time racing.
But, Bob, he's done things that guys who've been here 5 years can't do. I mean, this guy is an exceptional race car driver, Jeff Gordon is. And a nice guy on top of that.
What's going through his mind at this time?
No, I can't. I cannot imagine. As excited as this young man was at Charlotte when he won that Coca-Cola 600, can you imagine how excited he will be if he can just pull this thing off in front of his hometown folks?
Just imagine the stress he is under at this time. He knows that if he misses an entrance or an exit to the corner by 2 inches, he's lost the lead.
He's lost the lead, and Ernie has pulled up on that back bumper. Now, can he get him loose enough to get under him coming off the second or fourth corner? Ernie's there.
Irvan is right there, as a matter of fact, now with 12 laps to go. Irvan looks like he's going to make a run on Jeff. He's got a good momentum build-off coming up off of the second corner down the backstretch. Irvan is going to go into the lead once again, or is he?
You reckon Jeff is going to race him on the outside like he did Rusty? He is, Bob. Side by side in turn 3.
But they give each other plenty of room. They're into the short chute, and Gordon has a half car length advantage as they go into 4. Oh!
Ernie got the car a little bit out of shape as he went in the corner, but they're still side by side. Now Jeff Gordon retakes the lead, and he went in that third corner on the outside of Ernie.
Unbelievable. They cross the line. 11 laps to go. Here's Jackaroos.
Well, Benny, what's happening, Bob? Jeff Gordon is radioing in that he's got a problem. The problem is, as you said, every time that Ernie Irvan gets up to the rear decklet, he gets extremely loose. He was pleading those last 2 laps that he had to let him go by. And it looks like what might be happening right now.
A replay of the last lap. Once again, Irvan moves to the inside and challenges Jeff down the backstretch.
Jeff just will not let go, Bob. He will not let go. He says, I'm going to win this race, but this time he does.
And now the question is Ernie going to be able to pull away? Meanwhile, Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, and the others have closed in on these two.
While these two guys have been racing, look, we've got a 6-car battle for the lead.
1 through 6 are running nose to tail with now 10 laps to go in the inaugural Brickyard 400. And look who's running in 6th position, Benny. It's Dale Earnhardt.
Man, oh, man. I tell you what, this race might have a little boring spot about from lap 150 miles to about 300, but this last 100 miles has been all worth it. What a great race.
Both of these drivers who are running first and second were born in the state of California. And the last California-born driver to win at Indianapolis was Pat Flaherty in 1956. Gordon looks to the inside in 3.
Jeff can run as long as he doesn't have somebody right behind him. But these cars, when they pull up right behind that limiter, they're getting him loose. Or they're using all that racetrack when they come off 2 and 4, right up against that outside retaining wall.
And Ray Evernham has told Jeff Gordon to stay on Ernie's tail and get him loose. run in the same order down the backstretch. Just a couple of feet separating Irvan from Gordon.
Folks, you just can't imagine what's going through. Well, you can imagine what's going through these drivers' minds. Just think about the thing that you wanted most in your life. And that's exactly what they're thinking right now.
Jackaroot has more from Jeff's pit.
Benny, here's what's going to happen. And Bob, the team down here on pit side is going to make the call when they want Jeff Gordon to try and attempt the pass. They want him to stay right where he is for right now. And they say, we'll call you when we want you to go to the front.
Exactly, Jack. They don't want him to get in front too soon because Ernie will get him loose again, as he did a moment ago. With 2 or 3 laps to go, Jeff Gordon will try to make his move.
Well, there has never been a pass on the last lap to win an Indianapolis 500. The latest pass occurred in 1989 on lap 198 when Emerson Fittipaldi and Al Unser Jr. battled.
Why do you reckon these people pay these good money for these seats but don't sit down, Bob?
I don't think they've been sitting for most of the day. It's been a tremendous race. And we still have no idea who is going to win. Will it be Ernie Irvan or Jeff Gordon or one of the 4 that trailed him?
Yes, Gordon is up on that back bumper right now. He's getting Ernie a little bit loose as he comes off these corners. As he comes off 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's trying to worry him to death right now. He wants Ernie to look up and see nothing but the white of his eyes. He wants to smile at Ernie and see so he can see his teeth when he looks in that rearview mirror and know that he's right there on that back bumper.
When they come down and cross the line, we'll have 6 laps to go. Gary Gerald has a situation regarding Ernie Irvan.
Well, we're checking with the crew to see if there's been any radio conversation. They said Ernie has not complained. We asked him if he was getting loose when Gordon got up underneath that rear spoiler. They said he hasn't complained thus far. They're hanging on and hoping.
Gary, there ain't nothing they can do. I mean, if he ain't got it right now, they ain't going to fix it. If his car is not good enough to hold him back, there's nothing Robert, Larry, and Reynolds can do.
Gordon content to stay right on the rear spoiler of Ernie Irvan for the moment, but the laps are winding down. Just a little more than 5 laps left to go. There,
Robert Yates, the owner of the 28 car.
He watches as his driver comes down and leads another lap.
It's got to be tough on those crewmen. Oh, here we go. Ernie slipped 1 and 1. Ernie slipped, and Jeff Gordon gets alongside.
That wasn't on orders from the crew. That was because Ernie missed the entrance to turn 1, and Jeff saw it and immediately went for the hole.
And something's wrong with Ernie. Something has happened to the 28 car, Bob.
Irvan slows down and is going to lose second position.
A tire. He's got a tire going down.
Irvan drops off the pace, and now Brett Bodine goes into second. Ernie Irvan heads for the warm-up lane, and Jeff Gordon has the lead.
The right front tire went flat on the 28 car.
Here's Gary Gerald.
Yeah, the crew just sagged visibly on the wall. Right front tire, you hit it right on the head. And oh, in the last 5 laps, they had 4.5 to go, Bob.
A tough break for Ernie Irvan, the NASCAR Winston Cup points leader. But again, listen to this crowd in Indiana as they cheer their boy, Jeff Gordon. Give him the win yet, because the same problem could befall him before 3.5 laps are over. And Ernie Irvan has made it to his pit to get that flat tire fixed. But Jeff Gordon, there is the tire that has possibly cost Ernie Irvan a victory here at Indianapolis.
And he's going to go a lap down. He's going to go a lap down to the leaders as he comes down pit road. Here they come.
Jeff Gordon, Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, Rusty Wallace, and Dale Earnhardt in that order, and then comes Darrell Waltrip.
Kenny Schrader, Michael Waltrip. There we see Ernie as he exits the pits as Jeff Gordon goes by.
157 laps have been completed. There are 2.5 to go. Here comes Ernie Irvan out of the warm-up lane with the group of cars that he was running with earlier, but he does not have a chance of winning now. Jeff Gordon has a little bit of breathing room, Benny, because Brett Bodine is maybe a 1.5 seconds behind.
I don't know. It's not that far, but we don't have far to go. Coming down for two laps to go, the signal this time.
This is a Cinderella story that is unfolding here. Jeff Gordon, many people, including perhaps Tony George, the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, wanted Jeff Gordon, after his outstanding performances in open-wheel cars, to perhaps think about moving to the Indianapolis 500 and running the open-wheel cars. But instead, Jeff Gordon chose the NASCAR stock car route. And he is on his way to a victory in the first stock car race run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And there's his crew. They can't watch.
The Rainbow Warriors did good today, didn't they? Here he comes, Bob.
Off of corner number 4, Doyle Ford displays the white flag. Jeff Gordon has 2.5 miles to go before he wins this event. It'll be his second NASCAR Winston Cup victory. He brings the car through corner number 1, okay, and onto the short chute.
There's Brett Bodine. It looks like Brett's getting a little bit closer, but does he have time? He is getting closer.
On to the backstretch now with less than 1/2 lap to go for Jeff Gordon. He eyes turn number 3.
Listen to the crowd as they acknowledge Jeff Gordon when he goes by.
It's an unbelievable situation in Indianapolis. Here he is in the 4th turn. This is his final trip around turn number 4. And Jeff Gordon is about to write his name in the racing history books. Years from today, when 79 stock car races have been run here, we'll remember the name. Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Jeff is screaming on his radio back to the pit crew. Oh my God, I did it! I did it!
Yes!
Benny, we thought we saw emotion from this kid in Charlotte. I think it'll be at least duplicated here in just a few moments.
I'm about to cry.
It is an unbelievable story that has happened here at Indianapolis today. Jeff Gordon has won the Brickyard 400, and we'll be back to talk with him in just a moment.
This is Paul Page. We're back in Indianapolis, and yes, indeed, the dreams of childhood can come true as Jeff Gordon has taken the win, and it's your last chance for you to win. The winner of the Brickyard 400 is Jeff Gordon. Write his name down, Jeff Gordon, on your Budweiser Pace Car Sweepstakes 3x5 card and send it in. One of 4 1995 Chevrolet Monte Carlo official pace cars could be yours. Thanks for playing, and remember to send in your game card, brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Here's the final pass for the lead. As down inside of Irvan, Jeff Gordon made the move. Irvan in trouble because of a tire. And Jeff hung on. Coming off of turn 2, he was in front. Already, Ernie Irvan has slowed completely. But Brett Bodine was not about to give it up as he began to close in and came across the line 1/2 second behind Jeff Gordon. So history has been made once again at Indianapolis, a whole new line of history. The 24 car of Jeff Gordon has taken the win at Indianapolis. And for the very first time ever, a stock car will make the turn into winner's circle in front of the master control tower here. An incredibly popular win for this crowd in Indianapolis. They've watched this young man grow up. He celebrated his 23rd birthday last Thursday. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Ernie Irvan is right here and has just come out.
All right, here is your race summary now as Jeff Gordon gets his final inspection. Jeff Gordon takes the win at 131 miles an hour. We had 13 different leaders. They swapped the lead 21 times and 6 caution flags for 25 laps in the 160-lap run. Now, we're ready to go down to the winner's circle in front of the master control tower, and here's Jack.
Well, things are a little like bedlam here, a little different than the Indianapolis 500. Taking the congratulations. Jeff, we'd like to get you out of the car as quickly as we can. We'd like to talk to you because you have made history. First it was Ray Haroon, ladies and gentlemen. And now, the name is Jeff Gordon has won the first Winston Cup race here at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jeff, over here. Congratulations, a terrific victory, but tell us about the battle first.
Oh, man, what a battle. You know, we had a great car all day long, and the only car I was really worried about was that 7 car, and you know, I saw him, he had his misfortune, and I thought, well, all we got to do is just be nice and smooth and ride it here out from here. But that wasn't true. You know, we had a caution, and Ernie and the 2 car were right there, and I pulled away, but Ernie, you know, he kept loosening me up, so I let him go by, and then I get on him and eat his tires up and loosen him up. He let me go by. I tell you, I just want to commend that whole Haviland team and Ernie Irvan. He drove me a really nice, clean race. We didn't have to worry about anything. And
well, listen, we've got a very special presentation. Behind me, and behind you, is the president of the internationally known Indianapolis Motor Speedway that is now the home of Winston Cup's Brickyard 400, Mr. Tony George, for a very special presentation. Tony?
Jeff, congratulations. You've helped write history here. Your name will be the first to be inscribed on the beautiful PPG trophy for the Brickyard 400. This is yours to take home. Congratulations.
Well, from Victory Lane and Spectacular, let's go back to the tower.
Well, they came here with great expectations and many questions, these men of NASCAR. They came to make history. Today was a validation of the great success of this series that grew up from the post-war short tracks of the South. Dreams have come true. Jeff Gordon has won the Brickyard 400. He is the champion.